We're about to get into a rivalry so fierce, so personal, that the outcome is literally powering your life right now. No, seriously. This isn't just some dusty old history lesson, it's the reason the lights are on in your room. Let's dive in.
Yeah, you read that right. We're talking about a beef, a rivalry, a flat-out war between two of the greatest minds of their time, Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla. And this wasn't some friendly debate in a lab. Oh no, this was fought with public smear campaigns, bizarre stunts, and a whole lot of ego. It was a battle for the soul of electricity, and it got wild.
So, to really get this war, you have to understand the weapons. And in this fight, the weapons were two completely different ideas about how electricity should even work. Let's meet the two generals leading the charge.
All right, in one corner, you have the reigning champ, the celebrity inventor, Thomas Edison, the Wizard of Menlo Park. This guy wasn't just some tinkerer in a lab. He was a rock star, a master marketer who knew how to turn an idea into an empire. And he had already built that empire on one kind of electricity, and he believed in it, really believed in it. Edison's baby was called direct current, or DC, and honestly, it's super easy to get. Just picture water flowing through a garden hose. It's a nice, steady stream going in one direction. Simple, predictable. It's the exact same kind of power that comes out of every battery you've ever used. Think of it as a one-way street for electricity.
And then, you've got the challenger, Nikola Tesla, a brilliant, kind of strange genius from Serbia who shows up in America with literally 4 cents to his name. This is a guy who could build, test, and perfect entire machines in his head. Just boom, all in his imagination. And this guy had a completely different, you could say, radical idea for how to power the world.
Tesla's brainchild was called alternating current, or AC. Now, if DC is that smooth, flowing garden hose, AC is, well, it's more like a saw blade. The electricity doesn't just flow, it zips back and forth, constantly changing direction. It sounds a little weird, right? A bit more chaotic, but that back and forth action, that was its secret weapon.
Okay, so this is where it all comes to a head. Here's the big problem with Edison's DC. It was terrible at traveling. It lost power really fast, which meant you'd need a huge, expensive power plant every few blocks just to keep a city lit. It just wasn't practical for, the whole country. But AC was a game changer. With a simple device called a transformer, you could crank the voltage way up, send it hundreds of miles with almost no power loss, and then step it back down to a safe level for your house. This was the key to electrifying America.
You can probably guess what happened next. Edison saw AC not as the future, but as a direct attack on his entire DC empire. He wasn't about to let his life's work get torn down by some quirky immigrant with a wild idea. And this is where the friendly competition stops, and things are about to get ugly.
So how did this all start? Well, funny story, Tesla actually used to work for Edison. He told Tesla he'd pay him 50 grand, which is like over $1 million today, if he could fix a problem with his DC generators. Tesla, being a genius, pulls it off. But when he asks for the cash, Edison just laughs and says, "Oh, you don't get American humor." Can you imagine? Tesla was not amused. He walked out that day, and the war was on.
And when I say this war got ugly, I mean it. Edison launched an all-out propaganda blitz. To prove AC was dangerous, he literally paid people to electrocute stray animals, dogs, cats, even an elephant, in public squares, all to scare people. He even secretly helped develop the first electric chair, making sure it used AC just to link it with death in everyone's minds. It was a brutal, brutal smear campaign. So how do you possibly fight back against that kind of fear-mongering? Well, if you're Nikola Tesla, you do it with the most epic flex in scientific history. At the Chicago World's Fair, he stood on a stage, let hundreds of thousands of volts of AC power flow over his body, and used it to light up a light bulb in his hand, completely unharmed. Talk about a mic drop moment. And that pretty much sums up the two men, right? Edison used fear. Tesla used pure, unadulterated spectacle.
Okay, so the World's Fair was a massive win for Team Tesla. But the war needed a decisive final battle, one big project to settle the score once and for all. And believe me, the way this all ends, there's a twist you won't see coming. 26 miles. Doesn't sound like much, does it? A marathon run? But back then, trying to send electricity that far was like trying to fly to the moon. Edison himself was on record saying it was flat out impossible.
And that number, 26 miles, would become the final nail in DC's coffin.
And here it is, the knockout punch, the project to harness the incredible power of Niagara Falls. The contract went to Tesla's system. They built massive AC generators, they flipped the switch, and it worked perfectly. Power flowed 26 miles away to light up the entire city of Buffalo. It was a total triumph. And just like that, the war was over. AC was king.
Right. So, AC won? End of story? Well, not so fast. Because if alternating current is so great, if it won the war more than 100 years ago, then what's the deal with this thing? You know what I'm talking about? Why does every single gadget you own need one of these clunky power bricks to plug into the wall? This is my favorite part of the story, because it turns out the war didn't really end with a winner and a loser. It ended with a kind of peace treaty, a truce that you use every single day, probably without even realizing it.
That little brick is a magical box. It's like a translator. It takes that powerful back and forth AC from your wall outlet and, get this, it converts it back into smooth, steady, one-way DC. Yep, Edison's DC. Your phone, your laptop, all your electronics, they need that calm, predictable DC power to work. That brick is the peace treaty, turning Tesla's current into Edison's current so your phone can charge.
So who really won the war of the currents? The answer is, we did. You and me. We get the best of both worlds. We use Tesla's amazing AC system to efficiently move power all over the country. And then we use Edison's simple DC system to actually run all our favorite toys. It turns out they needed each other all along. It's kind of sad, though, the way their personal stories ended. Edison's company, of course, became the giant we know today as General Electric. He died a rich and famous American hero. Tesla, well, he actually tore up his royalty contracts to help the cause, saving his backer from bankruptcy. He died broke, and for a long time, mostly forgotten. A true visionary who was way, way ahead of his time. When you boil it all down, this fight wasn't just about wires and volts. It was a fight for what the future would look like. And it really makes you think, you know? What's the war of the currents happening right now? Is it between different kinds of AI? Is it a battle over battery tech or space travel? Who are the modern-day Edisons and Teslas out there, fighting over the technology that our grandkids will just take for granted? Something to chew on.